Hi, just had to switch off the Bluetooth. So it's Friday the 18th, 17th, uh, the 18th of September, 6 p.m., which means the whole day has basically passed, and I still, I still haven't managed to basically, in a way, get up to get my energy flowing, do something. Um, but right now I feel a bit like studying, so I thought I just have the camera rolling in the background. Might help me a bit to focus. And what I also really want to do is um, clean up my room. That really that's really important. Like there's some leftover food and stuff like that. It's already started to smell, but I'm just so kind of debilitated. I don't know. So today so far I've been unable uh, to act like in the physical world. Yesterday was quite interesting. I found some very good guided meditations, and they actually allowed me. They made me able to act differently and step out of the limiting patterns in my nervous system and in my mind. Not so much like when one would say in my mind, it's more. We tend to think more about like thoughts. You think, but this is much more about the actual feeling. It's very physically manifested. It's like actual walls that you cannot get beyond. It's like muscular tensions in your body and so on. And I was able to transcend that for a bit. But of course, every time I fall asleep, there's reset back to the worst or lowest state of my body and nervous system. And then I just have to build everything up. And at the same time, I also have to. I mean, my experience is that I cannot take the full dosage of Ritalin every day, for example, because that would just that's just too much of a strain on my nervous system. This overstimulation, and it would work less and less and less. So because I don't know how to express it well. I'll tell you right now. I'm like bad. I I I'm not able to efficiently relax, which sounds really strange, but I guess you know what I mean. Um, so just lying in bed or sleeping. Well, sleeping to a degree, yes, because just of the it's just a physiological process where I'm where my conscious mind is not really involved a lot. Uh, but then, apart from sleeping, yeah, I'm doing my best, but relaxing is something I've never learned, or we could say I've well, it wasn't valued in my family yet, and it's kind of the same in many other families. But I noticed, for example, my mother, who's really was really the one who always made sure that me and my brothers would be active, and once we would be doing nothing and kind of enter a more relaxed or open state that was seen as loneliness, as laziness. So she always made sure that there would be something to do for us. Um, and the same like with school holidays, and even later with uni holidays. She always made sure, or later put a very strong pressure, at least on me, to that. For example, that we do an internship at some company over the summer, so there would never be any period of time where we do nothing. So and this conditioning is very deep, and it's very hard to get out of. And I think it's it's probably a very typical pattern for everybody who has chronic fatigue and related symptoms and so on. The fact that even if you put them on a beach in a hammock, they still, their body and their mind and nervous system wouldn't relax, and they would still be tense and put an effort into their state. I know that very well, because when I relax, I put energy and effort in relaxing. So it's like meditating or being present and so on. All these states, it always requires an effort from me to be in these states for a while. It's not the case that I can just let go and sink into these states. Then there are many factors. One factor is that I noticed that when I enter such a more relaxed state, and actually in some parts of my body I would start feeling good, I like my mind instantly almost sees that as a threat and tries to get out of it, or it's like the thing, oh, I'm feeling better now, I have energy and can put it into work, into moving on, into doing something. That's just I noticed that a lot. So well, just before I mentioned the hammock on the beach, actually that's the closest like the that's the environment where I could most imagine actually really getting into the relaxation, because as I've mentioned before, the energy of the sea, of the ocean, is extremely beneficial for me in warm weather. I I don't think I've really been to any place near the ocean in a cold climate or cold weather, so I can't really tell whether how that would be, how the effect probably still a relaxing effect, but yeah, I mean, even if you wear warm clothes, you still, I guess, you still cannot just lie down on the beach. Yeah, but there's no realistic way to spend an extended amount of time somewhere at the beach. And right now, right now in Austria, the COVID cases are rising. Yeah, we can brace ourselves for what's going to come, because obviously the I mean, even if they are doing lots of testing, when there's a certain number of cases, the cases that are not because again, I really haven't followed it, but I reckon that again already it's already gone back to that epidemic pattern where you cannot isolate individual clusters. So I guess the actual number of people carrying the virus is of course much higher than the detected cases. And yeah, it's a I mean, for Austria, it's a big city, so there might even be a second lockdown, though it's okay for me. So our lockdown was never as strict as in other countries. It was quite sensible. So basically, you're allowed to go out for basic necessities, and but also go out on walks or to do sports, and you can also go out together with people from the same household. It used to be you can go out in a group of up to 5 people. I remember. So yeah, for me personally, it's won't be a real change. I actually, for the whole week, I haven't been able to. Maybe at the start of the week, but for several days, I haven't been able to go out and buy groceries. It would be cool if I still could do it today, but yeah, it's. I feel quite a strong depression in a way, lack of energy as well. I mean, my feet are cold, and I guess right now is the first time today that I'm actually sitting and not laying in bed. But yeah, I feel, for one, the push factor, like the energy in my body, and the motivation, the different stages of motivation, when it gets from the idea or the desire to the actual action that's not there. pull factor is not there. I So a while ago I really lost my appetite, and my food allergies got quite strong. So right now apparently I can't eat any fresh fruits or vegetables, and I don't feel like, yeah, there's nothing I really feel like. Yeah, I guess like the like those not really freshly pressed, but the kind of fruit juices that you get in that are refrigerated, that are not pasteurized. I kind of feel like drinking those, but they're like really expensive. Like, and I'm trying to. Well, I have to. I have to get by on the money I have, and I still wanna start uni in October. So there are a number of purchases associated with that, of course. But I'm waiting for October for that, so I don't run out of money. Yeah, I mean, what? Yeah, I know this. I really very frequently say I mean. I mean, yeah, yeah. um, these entries are not like an eloquent speech, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's not the time to work on my my not oratory skills, just my just the way I speak, just not saying so often, or I mean, or just or like, and you know, and so on, and getting lost. That's for an audience that's hard to. It doesn't. It's not something that really enthralls you and makes you listen. Uh, and I really do enjoy talking, or I mean, yeah, I've got much more experience writing, but generally just using words to bring something across. I kind of have to be rather inspired and have a certain amount of energy, or there's a situation which just opens me up, and where the energy is suddenly there and the inspiration is there, and then everything flows, and I really like that, actually. I always kind of neglected this part of me, because it's not. Yeah, it was never a there was never any question about this constituting a major part of some kind of career. It would probably always be helpful in any kind of professional career to be able to do that. But I would actually enjoy just giving speeches, or rather more like maybe almost lectures, or maybe more like guided meditations, dialogues, or just storytelling, or just reading something out aloud, and just conveying the message and the feelings, the sensations, the colors, the emotions, and the energies with my voice, as well as the words that I read and that are already written down. Yeah, so that's something I know that I enjoy just in it as an end in itself, but I certainly need practice. For example, simply getting rid of the I can just replace it with silence, and that's already much better. And what's interesting right now is that as soon as I paid attention to talk like this, I could feel my brain working differently, just instantly. I can feel my hemispheres. They seem to be more attuned to each other, and like the energy of the top of my head opens up more, and even my voice is changing. So I guess I will be practicing speaking in a more eloquent manner while I record these entries. And it will just be a process, but when I focus on my voice and my phrasing and my cadence, in a way, I notice such a big energetic change in my body. I feel how I'm more grounded, how my nervous system is calming down, how I'm feeling my body more more intimately, and I feel the energy at the base of my spine. I feel my back and my spine, the muscles relaxing. For the past days, my lower back, the lumbar region, has been very active, sometimes painful, often very tense, and sometimes it would open up a bit, and I could notice that when I put my awareness there, the energy would start flowing, and there would be energy flowing out from that part of my body into the rest of my body, the way it's actually meant to be. And once this part is fully healed and integrated, the amount and intensity and power of the energy coming from there, and nourishing the rest of my body will be so much stronger. And that was quite interesting. Even today, I felt it a little bit in ancient Chinese thought and medicine. This area is called the door of life, the Mingmen in Mandarin. I think what I experienced was basically a little bit a very gradual opening of the Mingmen. Though I couldn't hold this state for very long, usually just a couple of seconds, because as I told you before, states that feel good, especially feeling good in my body, and well-being, relaxation, warmth, comfort, relief, power. Yeah, I guess I've enumerated everything. I was just feeling back into it. They still very, very foreign to my conditioning, so I will instantly feel how my nervous system, my mind, my subconscious mind and I guess my conscious mind as well, because I'm being conscious of it, they'll instantly interpret these sensations as some kind of danger and do everything to shut it down. Yeah, and definitely my mind is involved because it feels like, okay, now I gotta do something else. I need some kind of distraction. And then if I put an effort into staying there with my awareness and maintaining this healthy state, this expansive state, I will create more tension naturally, because if I'm doing something with my mind, with willpower, that takes energy, and that's exactly what I've been talking about before. So let's just wrap it up here. So what am I gonna do now? I'm just checking the state of my body. Would I wanna play on a drum? But it feels like my nervous system is too agitated for that. So I'll go back to what I wanted to do, and I'll study a bit, because I've neglected that for the past days. Doesn't really matter so much now, but it feels like it's a good it's a very good way to occupy myself. Very helpful, and I should stay focused on it every day, not to the detriment of the more important things, more productive things, if you will, like basically caring for myself and my stuff, whether it's material or immaterial, my body, my life, but it's very helpful in those intermediate stages where you, in fact, it's not even that I have a choice then, because once my brain enters a state where I'm well enough to focus on something, for example, distracting myself on my phone or on the internet just becomes very painful, and I just have to stop and do something more coherent and more focused. That's quite an interesting sign. Yeah, I guess I have to bring in spirituality again, because I'd say that it's very typical that once there's just a point where you recognize the nature of spirituality, and that's just here. And I guess I'm still kind of ashamed of this part of myself, and I'm very much hiding it, because it's how to put it, it's very much beyond what any people I've met could relate to, because my life just went in this direction where instead of other opportunities, I was given the opportunity to dive into that quite deeply, because fate just put me into a lot of pain, and in basically in general, ever since I got sick, I'm mostly just on the whole in a situation where I can go into explore things that either belong to spirituality, even though it's a wide area and people have very different ideas about it. And for me, it's generally quite a down to earth thing, though I guess, yeah, once I start talking to people honestly, or it's not really what a lot of people would consider down to earth. And I just noticed in the past, again and again and again, basically my whole life, that I'm just being totally misunderstood, and people's thoughts are just going like, in a way, it's extremely hard for me to relate to 99% of people's thoughts and beliefs and concepts as soon as it comes to these kinds of topics, experiences, and perspectives, especially this perspective. And my the archetypal experience of my life is just expressing myself in honestly without playing a role and being completely misunderstood. I mean, the best outcome is if they don't get it. It's worse if they interpret it in a different way. So, yeah, actually, that's actually a topic that shouldn't be overlooked, and I am I maybe I should consider it much more, because it seems that it's also something quite major, uh, quite central to my further development, and to finding a place and a state, and the mastery to be able to act in a sovereign manner, to be able to take control of my life, or at least to start co-creating my life. Uh, it will never be the way that I have this desire and I'll just be able to put it into reality. It might happen, but it won't be the norm. It will always be a co-creation with fate, if you will, or your higher self, your destiny, your life purpose, and also decisions of other people and their lives, and so on, and then my decisions. So that's the co-creation is. That's what I mean. So quite interesting. I always like it when I talk to the camera and new things come up. And now I also feel the presence of one part of my soul. And that's really nice. I wanted to, I've been looking to connect to myself today, because apparently I just wasn't connected. So what I'm gonna do right now is, number one, I'll just put the smelly food on the balcony for now. I have to take my medication, refill my water bottle, go to the toilet, wear some warmer clothes. Maybe I can find some socks. I have no idea where they all are. Yeah, it's getting quite cold now in the evening. Close the balcony door. And then I'll go back on camera, and I will do another guided meditation there, because there's one that's about connecting with yourself and with others, and I feel like that might be very interesting thing to do. And since it seems I still got storage on this phone, I'll do it on camera. yeah, because without the camera, right now I don't have the energy. I don't have the focus. Yesterday I still had it. Mm, quite sure that because I did those meditations. There was the body always needs a lot of life energy to integrate stuff like that. I've mentioned it before. I've known it for years now. That was my big mistake in the beginning. Just collecting healing stimuli, just doing healing, and the body cannot keep up, and it's more and more breaking down because it doesn't have the energy to integrate all these healings, and at the same time um, manage everything, all the energies, plus all the influences, the processes that we individually participate in because of the change in human collective consciousness in our respective societies and ancestral lineages and the people that surround you and the planet as a whole, even the universe as a whole. Um, that's something I don't know. I haven't really gone into. So, and because I'm just my baseline state is just complete chaos and disempowerment, and it actually feels like being shackled, being locked in jail. I actually have very specific imagery that I've had since almost since childhood, actually, that comes with these things. Because of that, I cannot really say when I'm having less energy or more, or doing better or not, and there's no clear reason for it. What it might have to do with something like a solar flare or some processes going on in the human collective consciousness, which now in the year 2020 there's a lot going on. So for sure, I'm being part of it, and there's no way out, no way to disconnect without disconnecting from yourself. The only way out is to build up the so-called psychic endurance that will allow you to go through these things and not be affected so much as to be incapacitated in your daily life. Though I've learned to a certain degree, and I will certainly practice this even when the day comes when I have energy. That's when I suddenly feel low in energy and kind of under some kind of strain, and though there's no specific reason, just to take more rest and accept it. it's hard to do for me. And then there's all these cases where there are actual triggers or whatever, but uh, you cannot tell that to other people. For example, it happens very often when I talk to someone, it might be just a few words, and they would talk about somebody else, or mention somebody or something, and I'm just overwhelmed by the energy that flows in, even if it's just a couple of seconds, and even if it's just actually there's no negative energy. It happened to me a couple of days ago, or maybe last week, I don't remember, but I think it was a week ago. And yeah, a roommate mentioned someone, and I had this influx of energies, colors, and shapes, maybe just for a second, very short while, because I didn't consciously tune in, and I guess I might just have switched it off, just yes, kind of switched the channel as soon as I noticed it, but it was enough to completely short circuit my whole nervous system. And there was nothing negative, and yeah, some things to process from the past, but still I just didn't have the capacity to deal with that. But it yeah, I needed at least a day, or actually much longer. I can never say when I actually get out of the when something affects me. I can never really say when, like, okay, I needed a day or 3 days or a couple of hours to process that and get back to normal, because there's no normal. And in that case, I was actually just going to the bathroom to take a shower, but just this one mention, yeah, it just overwhelmed my nervous system, and I just had to turn around and go back to bed. So I have to, not only do I have to strengthen my body and mind and everything in many different ways and on many different levels to take care of myself and function. I also have to find ways of dealing with such things without completely without being completely destroyed by just rather random things. And in my experiences, it doesn't make sense even to mention such things to people, even when they ask me what's the reason and so on. Because they might think, okay, so there's some negative energy or some conflict behind this, or that something is being triggered in me, which is not wrong. I've talked about the thing before, what's yours, what's mine, and that it totally depends upon your perspective. So it's kind of a moot question, actually. I mean, as soon as it's there in my body, it is mine anyway. But people would think, oh yeah, so you just gotta work on it and do this and that, and they might offer help. But I'm getting more and more confident about my own intuition, because I know that in many cases, the working on it just puts more and more strain on my body, and requires more and more energy, and it's just not helpful. The most helpful thing is building up energy and endurance and resources on a physical, emotional, and energetic level, and mental level, and that comprises just many different things. So the best thing people could do for me is actually emotional support. But that's very hard because for one, for emotional support to be actually nourishing for me, it generally only really works with very few people, and then it has to come in a specific way, and at the same time I'm still not able to ask for it and even conceive of it, and because apparently it might be that it has to come in a certain form that's a bit different from ways other people get emotional support. I mean, this whole area is really something that's not my forte, I think.